In just over an hour's time, flags will be lowered to half-mast in honour of those senselessly killed at Bondi Junction.
It appears people died in this event, but it has all the hallmarks of being one of theirs.
Our reporting team is across all the new developments, led by Sylvia Jeffries at Bondi Junction. Good morning, Sylvia.
6 people died, so it's normal that there would be more coverage than your average Sydney stabbing. This is round-the-clock, non-stop reporting, and notably with a messaging on how you should be feeling. So how should you be feeling?
Hearts have broken here in Sydney and right around Australia.
They're reporting on people dying, and for people you don't know, you certainly feel sad when you hear it, but you're not heartbroken. That's for your family and close friends.
It is all still very raw here in Bondi Junction this morning as we go to air, and I don't know that this part of Sydney or the entire city on the whole will ever come to terms with what happened here at Westfield Bondi Junction.
Now, the second indication is where it happened, and she mentioned it twice. She says Bondi Junction, Bondi Westfield, that this event happened at a high-profile location with a very well-known name, similar to Man Monis in at Martin Place, Mertonay down at the Quay, and the famous Jimmy Gargasaurus right in the centre of Melbourne. If this event happened in Blacktown, you can guarantee it wouldn't have the same impact and the same coverage. That it's at Bondi, that's your second indication. Now, you might not be on board that it's one of theirs just yet, but keep watching.
Joining the Prime Minister and state leaders, all trying to make sense of a nightmare so senseless.
Australians are waking up to try to deal with the shock and trauma that will come.
On hearing someone has died, you feel sad, but certainly not traumatised as assumed by the PM. The third indication here is that the politicians are instantly involved, talking about how traumatised they are, something needs to be done about it. How about some new laws?
And this is the man responsible, 40-year-old Joel Couchy. Originally from Queensland, he moved to Sydney last month.
Now, the fourth indication is that the perpetrator is from another state new to town, and he's known to police, but that's up in Queensland. He's not known to police down here. And that's part of the cover story, that the police weren't negligent in any way. Now, it's also mentioned that he's a lone wolf, much like his fellow knife-wielding predecessors Mertonay and Isis Khan. But unlike Isis Khan, they're not running with the terror angle. I think they're going to go with mental health issues. Now, if you look into what laws they're going to bring in, they may be planning on, which they'd like to, expand the indefinite detention laws that apply to terror to mental health, which means they could pretty well lock up everyone off a doctor's signature. So here he is, the stabber in this one, about to go on his rampage. So here's Minto stabber Isis Khan and CBD stabber Mertonay. And it makes you ask, where do these guys come from that they're carrying a knife, and what's their mental state, and that they're in a prominent place full of cameras everywhere, and then they just start acting out these crazy and inexplicable scenes.
And so did the extraordinary acts of heroism from ordinary Aussies.
But not this guy. He looks suspiciously like a marker along the pathway he's meant to perhaps be going on. It's like when Jimmy had to confirm which street to drive down. Yes, Jimmy, that way.
This one, dubbed Bollard Man, going viral.
Now, this just looks so contrived and acted out, using ridiculous props, much like Mertonay back in 2019 when the crate and the famous chair, not just this guy, other people had chairs as well.
The first police officer arrives and gives chase, joined by a brave bunch of shoppers, one armed with a chair.
Oh yeah, we got ourselves a chair. Am I looking into this too much to suggest that the chair might be a signal to, other people around the place that this is one of theirs? This scene does not make any sense. We've got vigilantes chasing after, a police officer is in front of them, and they have lethal weapons. And these guys, do police advise that you get involved? And he's got a chair. Well, what's he got to do with a chair versus a cop with a gun?
Inspector Amy Scott eventually ending the 15-minute rampage, killing Joel Couchy with a fatal shot.
And there she is, the cop that shot him dead, blurring out everything else, of course. So there's no trial, nothing goes to court. It makes you wonder about the fate of this guy in the picture, the alleged stabber. Was he unwell, being tracked by the authorities and then manipulated and used? Or did this actually just happen? I might even ask the question, is he even dead? Look, these people, I'm pretty well guaranteed are dead. which I mentioned previously is sad, not traumatic, Albanese, just sad. But how and when they died, I don't know. Not to diminish the effects these deaths have had on friends and family, but since the JAB rollout, we're having 20,000 excess deaths each year. I think it's closer to 30,000. But even at 20,000, that's almost 55 a day dying from the JAB. They're young people. Now that's each and every day, as opposed to 6 people dying in an isolated stabbing incident. Well, all right, that's it for this one. So let me know in the comments if you think it's one of theirs. I'm pretty sure it is, but that'll be confirmed if they do start to introduce new laws either around mental health or knives. Look at that chair. That gives it up. All right, that's it for this one.